There's something unsettling about the idea that the most terrifying creatures to ever exist aren't the ones we see today, but the ones that vanished long before we appeared. Creatures so powerful, so unreal, that if they were alive now, they would change everything we think we know about danger. These weren't just animals, they were nature's wild experiments, the giants that once ruled oceans, skies, and lands in ways we can barely imagine. And the strange part, most people have never even heard their names. Today, we're diving into the world of 7 extinct creatures that were so dangerous, so unbelievably built for dominance, that it's almost a relief they disappeared. But as you'll see, their stories didn't end quietly. Each one left behind a mystery, a warning, or a secret that still echoes through history. Let's start with a creature that looks innocent at first, until you realize what it was truly capable of. The Megaloceros, the giant elk that dominated the Ice Age. Imagine walking through a frozen landscape during the Ice Age. The air is sharp, snow crunches beneath your feet, and suddenly a massive shadow stretches across the ground. You look up and see not a deer, but a towering colossus with antlers wider than a small car. This was the Megaloceros, the largest deer species ever discovered. Those antlers could reach 12 feet across, forming a crown so immense that other predators stayed away completely. One swing from those massive branches could break bones, crush a skull, or send even the bravest Ice Age hunters running. But the Megaloceros wasn't dangerous because it was aggressive. It was dangerous because it didn't need to be. Its size alone demanded respect. But here's where things get strange. The very feature that made it intimidating, the giant antlers, may have also led to its downfall. As the climate warmed, forests thickened, food sources shifted, and these enormous antlers became more of a burden than a weapon. Some researchers believe they struggled to navigate dense forests, making it harder to escape danger or find food. Others think humans may have competed with them for the same plants or hunted them for meat and bones. Whatever happened, the giant deer couldn't adapt fast enough, and around 8,000 years ago, one of the most impressive creatures of the Ice Age quietly vanished. But as huge as the Megaloceros was, it's nothing compared to the monster waiting in the next chapter, because the next predator looked like it stepped straight out of a nightmare. Bear dogs, the hybrids that shouldn't have existed. Picture this, a creature with the raw power of a bear and the speed and agility of a huge wolf, an animal that dominated forests and plains millions of years before humans even existed. These were the bear dogs, one of the most successful predator families the world has ever seen. Some bear dogs were the size of modern lions, while others grew even larger. Their legs resembled those of wolves, long and built for sprinting, but their bulk and jaw strength were closer to a grizzly's. They could chase down prey with frightening speed and then crush bones with one bite. For millions of years, they were unstoppable. But here's the twist. Despite their name, bear dogs weren't bears. And they weren't dogs either. They belonged to their own separate branch of carnivores, an ancient lineage that simply disappeared before humans entered the picture. So what wiped out such dominant hunters? Competition. As new predators evolved, early wolves, large cats, and faster carnivores, the bear dogs found themselves outmatched. Their size, once an advantage, slowed them down. Their prey grew scarce, and for the first time in their long rule, they couldn't keep up. And just like that, one of Earth's greatest predator dynasties fell. But if you think that's intense, wait until you meet the creature that could challenge Megalodon itself. Livyatan. Most people think the Megalodon was the ultimate sea monster, but few know about the creature that could actually stand toe-to-toe with it. Its name was Livyatan, a prehistoric whale the size of 2 school buses, armed with the largest biting teeth of any predator ever found. These weren't smooth whale teeth. They were massive, thick, dagger-like weapons up to 14 inches long. Livyatan didn't filter feed like modern whales. It hunted giant prey, other whales, colossal sharks, and anything unfortunate enough to cross its path. Imagine a sperm whale with the mindset of a killer predator and the jaws of a monster built for destruction. But here's what makes Livyatan so mysterious. We've only found its skull, no full skeleton, no complete fossils. Just enough evidence to know it existed and was horrifyingly powerful. Some researchers believe it may have battled Megalodon for dominance over the oceans, two giants colliding in brutal underwater showdowns. But then, suddenly, Livyatan vanished. Climate shifts changed ocean food sources, and its prey disappeared. The oceans cooled, currents changed, and the king of the seas faded away. But the skies held monsters of their own, and the next one was almost as large as a plane. Argentavis, the sky titan that ruled the air. Imagine looking up and seeing a shadow glide overhead. So huge, you'd think a small aircraft was passing by, but it wasn't a plane. It was Argentavis magnificens, the largest flying bird ever recorded. With a wingspan over 20 feet wide, this bird didn't flap through the sky. It soared, riding air currents for hours. No predator could reach it, and very few creatures could escape it. Some scientists think it hunted like modern condors, spotting weakened animals below, swooping down with terrifying force and delivering a fatal strike. And here's the part most people don't realize. Humans may have actually seen Argentavis. Early humans and these sky titans overlapped for a short time. Imagine the fear of watching a shadow fall over your tribe, knowing a creature big enough to carry off a small child was circling above. But after the Ice Age ended, large prey vanished, climates changed, and Argentavis lost its food source. The skies became quieter, and eventually the greatest bird to ever fly disappeared forever. But on the ground, another predator was about to rise, one that would haunt ancient landscapes in packs. Dire wolves, the nightmare pack hunters. Thanks to movies and TV shows, everyone thinks they know what a dire wolf is, but the real creature was far more terrifying. Dire wolves were heavier, stronger, and more muscular than modern wolves. Their skulls were thicker, their jaws more powerful, and their bite could crush through the bones of giant Ice Age animals. They hunted in packs, working together with ruthless precision. Mammoths, giant sloths, massive bison, nothing was off limits. But here's the wildest discovery. Despite their name, dire wolves weren't actually wolves. Recent research shows they weren't even close relatives. They were their own branch of canids, separated from modern wolves by millions of years of evolution. So, what happened to them? As the Ice Age ended, the megafauna they relied on disappeared. Gray wolves, which hunted smaller prey, survived. Dire wolves didn't. Their size, once a deadly advantage, became a fatal weakness when the world changed around them. But if the dire wolf was fierce, the next creature was something no human could ever stand against. Not in the water, not on land. Jaekellopterus, the giant sea scorpion. If you're scared of scorpions, imagine one longer than you are tall. 400 million years ago, Jaekellopterus ruled the oceans. This massive sea scorpion had armor-like plating, huge claws, and the ability to strike with horrifying speed. Its pincers were large enough to grab armored fish and tear them apart. And when food was scarce, it didn't hesitate to attack members of its own species. It was, without exaggeration, a nightmare brought to life. But then something unexpected happened. New fish species evolved, faster, larger, and with better defenses. Suddenly, the scorpion that once ruled the seas found itself outmatched over millions of years. Its descendants adapted, shrinking in size, moving to land, and eventually becoming the smaller scorpions we see today. But none of them come close to the scale of their monstrous ancestors. And yet, even Jaekellopterus wasn't the most dangerous creature on this list, because the final animal wasn't a predator, or at least not in the traditional sense, but it had something far more terrifying. Triceratops, the dinosaur built like a battle tank. Most people think the deadliest dinosaur was the T-Rex, but one creature stood eye to eye with the king and didn't run. It fought. That creature was Triceratops. This was nature's tank, a massive herbivore armed with 3 lethal horns, each capable of piercing a predator's skull. Its frill wasn't just decorative. It was a shield, a bone fortress that protected its neck from attacks. If a T-Rex tried to strike from behind, the frill blocked the bite. If it attacked from the front, the horns could skewer it. Some fossils even show injuries that suggest these two giants actually battled, leaving deep scars on each other's bones. Triceratops didn't fear predators. Predators feared Triceratops. But even this armored giant couldn't survive what came next. 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck Earth, ending the age of dinosaurs in a single catastrophic event. And with it, the mighty Triceratops took its final bow. These 7 creatures were more than animals. They were reminders of how wild, unpredictable, and dangerous Earth once was. Each one dominated its world, shaped its ecosystem, and then vanished, leaving only fragments of bone and scattered clues behind. If even one of them were alive today, our planet would look completely different. Human dominance wouldn't be guaranteed. Cities, forests, oceans, they would all belong to the giants. And here's the eerie part. These are only the ones we've discovered. There were countless monsters that lived and died without ever being found. Creatures more powerful, more bizarre, and more dangerous than anything we can imagine. Their stories are buried in the ground, waiting. And every time a fossil is uncovered, we're reminded of one chilling truth. The world before us was far more terrifying than the world we live in now.